Alright, so welcome back to the channel, guys. It is me, 8744. Today, guys, I want to wish all of you a happy new year, guys. We're in the new year 2022. And like I said, for the very first video of the year, it is best that we start with a predictions video, right? The 2022 predictions. And we're going to go ahead and get started. Okay, so I'll be predicting 22. I'll be giving you guys my 22 predictions for the year. A lot of these predictions, or some of these predictions have went with wildcard guesses. Some of these are pretty obvious. And remember, guys, there will be a theme of World Cup predictions. I'll have the World Cup predictions towards the end of this video. So without further ado, let's go and get started. Now, remember, if you're new around here, I do recommend you hit the subscribe button down below. Like I said, guys, road to 600 subscribers begins. Right now, we're at 508 as of today. I do have a channel preview, which you'll find on the annotations, where you guys will get really good at insight of what the channel is really about. And I've also unlocked the community tab, so I really recommend to check that out and vote if you desire. Make sure you guys like and comment down below your thoughts. And with that being said, let's get back into the video. So let's go ahead and do the league predictions winners, which is fairly obvious. I think though the league winners, all of them are pretty obvious. It's gonna be Bundesliga is obviously gonna be Bayern. That's pretty much a guarantee. League One is obviously PSG. That's a guarantee. I would say Manchester City. La Liga. I mean EPL. I would say Manchester City. And then I would say the La Liga, I would definitely give it to Real Madrid. Real Madrid for sure. And the Inter Milan, I would say Serie A. I think Inter's going to win. The only one I'm a bit not sure about is this one, but I still believe it. I believe Inter has been really, really good. So those are my 5 general league predictions. So let's go ahead and talk about the dark horse. Dark horse, UEFA Conference League. I'm going to say Marseille. I've been really impressed with Marseille between the French league. Jorge Sampaoli's doing a great job with this team, and I think with players like, I think with the amount of talent they have on their team, I think they could go on a deep run the Conference League and maybe even win it. I just don't think they have enough quality in their team to win it. However, I do think they can make at least the quarters. I think this team is looking really solid, and I'm really been impressed with them, and I think they could surprise many people in the Conference League after having a disappointing season in the Champions League last time around. I'm gonna say for the UEFA Conference League winner, I'm gonna still stick with Roma. I was a bit hesitant at first, and like I said, I wouldn't be surprised to see Roma not win because after seeing them, they've been kind of somewhat underwhelming. I mean, the Conference League, we saw how they were unable to beat Bodo. However, they still managed to top the group because Bodo actually ended up drawing the final match day. And of course, I think Mourinho will definitely prioritize this. So I think Mourinho will want to get a European trophy. We know what he did with Manchester United for the Europa League. He took it very seriously. And I know people will say, oh, why didn't he do it with Tottenham? Well, Tottenham are in a very, very peculiar situation. We all know how much of a joke Tottenham is nowadays. So, yeah, I don't know. I think I think Roma will do good, but I don't know how good they can be because, like I said, I don't know. Let's see how Mourinho really takes this competition seriously. You know, and, I definitely do think Roma is definitely one of the contenders for sure. As far as the Europa League is concerned, dark horse in the Europa League, I'm going to say RB Leipzig. I was really impressed with RB Leipzig did in the Champions League. I know they finished 3rd. They had a very disastrous start, you know, losing to PSG, losing to Manchester City, losing to Club Brugge. And then they bounced back, man, getting wins over Club Brugge and against Manchester City. And they even got a draw against PSG, in which they probably should have won. So, like I said, guys, it's been very, very impressive with Leipzig. The only issue I have with Leipzig is the defense. I think this defense, for me, is going to really be their downhill, their Achilles heel. But I think their attack is very star-dusted, and that's fine. And I think that if they can continue that kind of form they have in the attack, I think they'll be more than enough to cement a dark horse position. I think semis might be the max I can see. I don't think they'll reach a final. I think the defense will probably let them down. But I do think that we can potentially maybe see the Europa League winner versus RB Leipzig in the semis, and yeah. And my UEL winner, guys, it is going to be actually let me put dark horse there. I put UEL winner. I mean to say dark horse. Sorry. Let me put my UEFA Europa League winner, and that is going to be. It is going to be Sevilla. It's their competition to lose at this point. We know how much Sevilla love the Europa League, and we know how much they crave this competition. And I just think that Lopetegui, he's going to really go for this, man. I mean, after what they did in the Champions League. And remember, guys, they will be hosting the final. They will be hosting the final, keep in mind, at the Ramon Sanchez Stadium, which, of course, that gives them a huge incentive to reach the final. And yeah, I would be surprised if Sevilla don't at least make the semis. Like, I think the Sevilla team is really solid. Now we move on to the dark horse for the Champions League. Now the Champions League is a bit more tricky compared to the Conference League, Europa League, because we all know the Champions League is less games. You know, the Conference League and the Europa League, there's a round of 32. I mean, I know there's not a round of 32 officially, but there's a playoffs. So it's gonna make things very difficult, and I'm a bit reluctant to go with this one, but I'm gonna still stick with it. I'm gonna say it's gonna be Villarreal. I think for what Villarreal did in this season's Champions League, they got out a group that many people probably didn't fancy them to get out of. You know, many people probably thought Atalanta were the better team, and in fact, myself included. And they got a victory away at Bergamo, which is quite impressive. And we know Atalanta don't really lose at home like that in the Champions League. And they find themselves in a very favorable opponent in the round of 16 against Juventus. And I think this is a very even clash. And that I believe that if they do beat Juventus, which I think they're more than capable of doing, then I believe they could maybe go on to the semis. You know, because like I said, guys, we always have a dark horse in the UEFA Champions League, and typically these dark horses teams do pretty well indeed. And I would love if Villarreal can make the semis. It would be a great achievement for them. Unai Emery's done a great job, you know, putting them into the Champions League. And like I said, guys, this might be once in a lifetime kind of thing, you know. Somebody may even make the argument, what about Lille? Lille's kind of like the same thing too, and that I just feel like for me, Villarreal, they're not doing very well in the league. They're not doing very well in the league, and this is the reason why I think they're going to go for the Champions League. I think they're going to go for the Champions League. Maybe Lille could also do as well. We could maybe see a potential matchup of Villarreal versus Lille in the quarterfinals, which would be quite extraordinary. I would love to see it, and I could see Villarreal just edging it through. So, yeah, man, I don't know, man. This is a tough one to call, but I'm going to go with it. I'm going to say Villarreal is my dark horse contender. Now, this is making the assumption they beat Juventus, because if they don't beat Juventus, obviously it's going to age horribly wrong. Okay, so yeah, let's go on to the next one. So then my Champions League winner, guys, it is gonna be Liverpool, guys. Liverpool is my pick, and like I said, guys, I did initially predict Liverpool, and I'm gonna stick with it. I was thinking about maybe Bayern. Bayern was also coming to mind, and it's really between Bayern and Liverpool for me. But I give Liverpool the edge here just because of how good Salah's been in this season. I know Lewandowski's been great and all, but dude, the way Salah's been, he's been absolutely brilliant. I mean, that's incredible. And I just think that for me, guys, Liverpool, I think they could do it, man. I think they could honestly do it. And with them seemingly out of the Premier League title race, I think they're going to go for the Champions League. I think they're going to go for the Champions League and go for it 100%. Okay? So yeah, let's move on to the next one. Okay? So then we got the next one we got is the Africa Cup of Nations winner, and that is going to be Morocco is my pick here. I know it's a big bold claim to make, and I know people say Algeria. I know people say Senegal. Nigeria. I know people make the reason why I'm not picking Algeria is because I just don't really think back to back is really that easy to do, and we all know how difficult it is. As for Senegal, I'm just not really that impressed when they play as a collective unit. I mean, they're not that impressive in my opinion. They're decent, but they're not that great. As for Nigeria, I don't really know how they'll do under their new manager. There's a lot of tension going in the Nigerian squad, FA, you know, everything like that. There's a lot of turmoil, political turmoil, and that stuff. And then obviously you got Egypt, you know, Salah, you know. So I'm going to say Morocco. I think it's a bit of a different pick. I've seen a lot of people go more towards Algeria, but I'm going to go with Morocco. I know they did drop Hakim Ziyech, which I think could be a big disappointment, big blow, but I think they should have enough quality to even go without Hakim Ziyech. So yeah. As for my surprise transfer for the summer, this is a transfer that I don't really think many people are talking about, but I think could very well happen is Jude Bellingham joins Liverpool. I know the Dortmund fans will say, oh, he's only 18 years old and everything like that, and I get it. But I just think that Liverpool, they're going to go on for the summer and make a really good offer. I know people say um, that Liverpool, the FA, they're just not very, you know, Liverpool, they don't really spend a lot of money like that. But I think they'll make an exception, and I think they'll make a big move for Bellingham this summer. And I think Bellingham, he could join Liverpool, and which could be a really interesting transfer indeed. So that was my surprise transfer. So now we have finished up their general predictions. We're now going to move on to the big predictions, guys. It is the World Cup, guys, the 2022 World Cup. It is a World Cup year, guys. I am super pumped. We haven't had this in a long time, guys. Finally, we can talk about the World Cup, man. I've been super looking forward to this. Let's go and discuss. Let's start with some bold claims to make. Let's start with the very first one, guys. Egypt misses out on the World Cup 2022. Now, despite Egypt looking seemingly better. I do like their new coach. I think they have been playing a lot better. Carlos Queiroz. I think they are playing a lot better. However, something tells me that we're going to get one of these African nations miss out. Something tells me that one of the mainstays we saw in the 2018 World Cup, one of them is going to miss out. And I'm trying to analyze and look at the ones. So we obviously got Algeria. I mean, Algeria, they didn't make the last one, but they're going to make this one. You know, Nigeria. Nigeria is also what I was contending as well. You know, I don't think Morocco. I think Morocco's too good to miss out. Senegal's too good to miss out. Tunisia is too good. So it really comes down to Egypt and Nigeria. And for me, I'm edging towards more Egypt because I just feel like for me, guys, Nigeria have so much more talent on paper. And yes, Egypt have been looking a bit better. I still don't know how Egypt will do against a top team, and I still need to see that happen. So I'm going to say Egypt misses out, though, but this will be very close. I feel like we're going to see Egypt versus Nigeria match, and I feel like one of those two teams are going to miss out. I just have this feeling. I'm giving the edge to Egypt, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Nigeria because they haven't really been that great either, to be fair to them. But I'm going to say Egypt just about, but man, it's going to be very close. And I think Algeria will probably take their spot, actually. Okay, so moving on. Then we got another big one. This is another big prediction to make. And this is one that I could see a lot of people getting mad at me for. And that is going to be Australia misses out in the World Cup. I believe Australia will miss out because I'm looking at the groups of the Asian World Cup qualifiers. They have Japan and Saudi Arabia in their group. And then the other group you have and I think Australia will get third, which will mean they would have a playoffs versus against a United Arab Emirates. And yes, you probably fancy them to beat United Arab Emirates, but here's where the tricky part comes in. They're going to play against a cannibal nation in the playoffs. They're going to be playing against Uruguay, Colombia, Peru potentially, like any of those South American nations. And I'm fancy the South American nations 100%. I really am. And that's why I think Australia will miss out. Not necessarily it's why the playoffs, which would be a very brutal, it would be a very shock, for Asian football in particular. And it's really interesting because you look in the last World Cup in particular, 2008 to 14, there wasn't really any big absentees from Asia. There wasn't really any big absentees, and I feel like for this time around, there could essentially be one, So I think there will be a one big miss, and I think Australia will be the one that pays the price. Okay? So yeah, let's move on. Then this is another big call to make. I believe we're going to see a big shock here. And this is one I believe a lot of people are going to call me out for. And oh boy, this is going to be a big one. France eliminated in the group stage, guys. This is a big call to make. I've said it right now, guys. I'm going to say it right now. I think France are getting eliminated in the group stage. And I believe this is the reason why. Because like I said, the champions curse and everything like that. I don't know, guys. France are the ones that actually started this curse and anything. So I just think that France will struggle. And we've been seeing how France have been very inconsistent this year. And I think France will be given a very challenging group. And I just think it's gonna happen, guys. I just think it's gonna happen, guys. I mean, I'm gonna say it right now, guys. I'm putting my name out there, and if it's wrong, it's so be it. I'm making the gamble, guys. So France eliminated the group stage. Let's see if that actually pans out or not. It will be crazy indeed. And then I have another bold prediction. Qatar eliminated in the group stage as well. That's another prediction that I believe will come to fruition. I just not been impressed with Qatar and the friendlies they have been playing against the European nations, and even in the other competitions like outside of Asia, they haven't really been that great in the Gold Cup. I mean, we saw how they almost screwed up a 3-0 lead against El Salvador. Right? And then we saw in the Copa America they finished bottom of the group and only got a point against I believe it was against Paraguay. I want to say I think it was Paraguay. And they weren't able to beat Colombia nor Argentina. And I understand Colombia and Argentina are a bit too class, but the thing is, if this is Qatar, right, this is not very good. And let's keep this in mind, guys. Let's keep this in mind. In the World Cup group, they're not going to get any Asian nations group. They're not going to get any Asian nations group. They're going to get a pot 2, pot 3, pot 4. And the pot 2 is looking strong, guys. You've got Portugal in there, USA, you've got Mexico, and we saw what Qatar did, and that they probably should have beaten the USA. I mean, that was USA's C team. And the fact they were unable to beat the USA C team just tells me everything. And so I worry for Qatar, man. And I did a FIFA simulation. I did a Football Manager 2021, and they got smashed. Big time. I mean, they were horrendous in the game. I know it's only FM, and I know It's not always realistic, but the point being is that I just don't think Qatar is getting to the round of 16. They're either getting third or fourth. So, in my opinion. Okay? Now, with that said, because I'm predicting a lot of big nations to miss out, that would mean that we're going to potentially have a pot 4 nation reach the round of 16, which is a big claim to make. It's a big claim to make, guys. And it's a huge, huge claim to make because, like I said, guys, we've seen how the pot 4 nations, like the nations like Japan, Tunisia, for instance, Nigeria, I believe those nations will be in pot 4, potentially, maybe in Peru, for instance, Canada, for instance, I feel like because one of those big nations is going to miss out, because France and Qatar are going to get eliminated, in my opinion, I think this gives a great opportunity for the pot 4 nations. All right. And now we have maybe some biased predictions you can maybe argue here. So then my next prediction is that we're going to have USA reach the quarterfinals. I think this is a big claim to make. This is a huge claim to make. And obviously, as a U.S. men's national team fan, I would absolutely love it if you can make 2022 World Cup's quarterfinals. And while this is probably not really realistic, to be quite fair, I do believe, though, we're going to see a surprise nation. I think we're going to see a surprise nation in the last 8, and I have a feeling it could be the USA. It could be USA. It could be Mexico. We might even see Asian nation. We might even see a African nation. I just think one of the nations outside of UEFA CONMEBOL, there will be a nation outside of UEFA CONMEBOL that will reach quarterfinals. I think there's going to be one. I can't really pinpoint, but I'm going to go and say USA. And then the top goal scorer in the World Cup, that is a very tricky call to make. I'm going to try to call that right now, guys. Oh, man. It's going to be a tough call to make. Okay. I've come to a conclusion. I believe it's going to be Lautaro Martinez. I don't know why. I just have this feeling that Argentina will get a fairly easy group, and I think Lautaro will score a lot of goals. I think Lautaro could score like 4 or 5 goals in group stage, maybe even win the knockouts and get around 6, because usually 6 is around the number you need to win the Golden Boot. So I think I'm going to say Lautaro wins the Golden Boot. And then finally, my final prediction. Which country is going to win the World Cup 2022? The 22nd prediction, guys. Oh, man, it's a tough call to make. It's realistically between UEFA and CONMEBOL, guys. And for me, it's got to be UEFA. As much as I want CONMEBOL nations to do Argentina and Brazil, it's really UEFA. And I'm going to go for a surprise pick here. A lot of people might be surprised when I'm going here. I'm going to predict the Netherlands to win the World Cup, guys. You heard it here first, guys. I was contemplating on Spain. I was contemplating on Italy. Well, Italy's not guaranteed. Germany I was contemplating. But I'm going to go with a wild card guess and say it's going to be Netherlands. So let's just see how it pans. It's more of a wild card guess rather than logical. But like I said, guys, I just think that the World Cup, guys, will be quite crazy. And given how we're in a different environment, we're not really playing in the traditional time frame like, July and June. We're playing in like what is it? The November, December, and the different climates. I think it could really be interesting. So that's my 22 predictions, man. I want you guys to comment down below your picks. Should be very interesting to look back on, guys. I'm really keen to see what you guys have to say here. And like I said, guys, it's gonna be very, very interesting indeed. Actually, hold up. There's one prediction I missed out, guys. One prediction I missed out. I think Reina is gonna be the breakout player of the tournament. Breakout player. Like I said, guys, in the World Cup, guys, there's always a breakout player. And the World Cup last edition, you could argue, was Mbappe. And I think for this edition, it's going to be Gio Reyna, guys. Gio Reyna, guys, for the U.S. men's national team. He's been probably one of the most consistent U.S. men's national team players. And I think he could win the breakout player. Like I said, there's other players you can maybe argue for, like maybe Fati, Anthony, Vinicius, maybe even, I don't know, Mason Greenwood, Bellingham. There's so many players. I think Reyna's going to do it, guys, which is a big call to make, and I would love to see it, guys. Love to see it. So that's pretty much it for today, guys. My 22 predictions for World Cup 2022. I want you guys to comment down below. Now for World Cup 2022. 22 predictions for year 2022. I want you guys to comment down below what you guys' thoughts. And if you did enjoy this video, I do recommend you hit the like button down below. And if you really, really did enjoy this content, I do recommend you hit the subscribe button down below. And remember, guys, there is a channel preview that will give you more in-depth explanation for what the channel is really about. And remember, guys, check out me in my other posts. Let's description below. And I'll see you guys later. Peace out.